Hey guys, CommonSensei here, and welcome back to another episode of the I'm Just Sayin video podcast, where I serve as your tour guide through this minefield of liberal idiocy, ridiculousness, and stupidity. It's been quite a while since my last post. This is not going to be a long episode, but a lot has gone on since I last posted a video. The most important of which is probably the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to address Uncle Joe Biden and how the administration's going, particularly with our economy. But before we do that, I have a favor to ask of all of you. Now, as you know, I love coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. In fact, I probably drink more coffee than anything else.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
However, I'm looking for a new coffee to drink. Now, I've mentioned this before, and I'm not trying to boycott any particular company.
Black Rifle Coffee.
I don't buy into boycotts and all that kind of stuff, generally speaking, okay? So I'm not boycotting the former company that I used to plug on this particular podcast.
Black Rifle Coffee.
But I am looking for a new company with delicious coffee. So, out with the old.
Black Rifle Coffee.
And in with the new. So, in with the new. I want to hear from all of you in the comments section. What coffee do you drink? What do you recommend? Okay, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a company that supports veterans, supports law enforcement, and is a company here in the United States. Okay, so saddle up a cup of your favorite Java. And let's get started. So from the category of bad things gone worse comes the American economy. Now, first of all, what you need to understand is inflation is higher than it's been in over 40 years. Currently, it's 8.6%. Now, I say currently because that's the last figure we got at the end of May, or for the month of May. 8.6%, which means that essentially all of you that work took an 8.6% pay cut. While that's going on, the price of gas is still skyrocketing, and it's just shy of $5 a gallon. Heaven forbid you're a trucker or that you drive some kind of diesel vehicle, because the average price of diesel is $5.72 a gallon. Welcome to the House of Joe.
This house is a fucking prison on planet bullshit!
Ridiculous. So what kind of impact does that have on the common citizen such as you and me? Well, there's a lot of effects. There's a huge impact, primarily on the products that we buy, the services that we pay for, okay? Because everything costs more now. And why? Well, how do those products get to the shelves? They get to the shelves through trucking, which is powered by diesel fuel, through trains, which is powered by diesel fuel, through ships, which is powered by jet and or diesel fuel, and planes, which is powered by jet fuel. So as the price of fuel goes up, the price to ship those products to the shelves go up, which means that not only do manufacturers have to pay more in order to ship their products, but the people that are getting those products, the stores, your merchants that are selling them, they have to pay more. And where do you think that cost goes? That's right, to you and to me. So when the Biden administration says, well, the president doesn't set the price of gas, and we're going to blame it on everybody else, it's Putin's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's the oil company's fault. It's everybody's fault except for Uncle Joe and Aunt Kamala, right? Except for one thing. Yeah, I'm sure the president doesn't call up your local Shell station or your Chevron or whatever gas station you go to and say, hey, let's go ahead and set the price of gas at $5. No. However, what the administration does do is they shut down pipelines. They cancel leases for drilling on property, right, on federal land. They cancel leases for offshore drilling. So why do you think we're having a shortage? I'll tell you why we're having a shortage. Because we don't drill for oil anymore. We don't frack for oil anymore. What did we start doing? We started buying it from Russia. That's weird. I thought Russia invaded Ukraine. That's right, they did. And how do you think they powered that machine, that war machine? That's right, from all the dollars that they're making, all the rubles that they're making from imported oil into the United States and other places in Europe. Okay? So, anyways, I digress. Let's put some of these people back to work. Let's open up these pipelines and start drilling again, and we'll bring the price of gas down exponentially. And then when we do that, guess what? The economy will get better. And as people pay less for products, and as the economy starts booming, the price of gas will automatically come down. More people will go back to work. And guess what? We'll have the greatest economy like we did before Uncle Joe. Except that's not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is because instead of drilling again, instead of us becoming energy independent again, like we were prior to Uncle Joe's administration, what is he doing? He's begging to the Saudis, begging to the Middle East, please, what I need you guys to do is up production. Well, what do you think happens with that? It's called a supply and demand thing, right? There's a high demand, there's a low supply, which does what? Drives the price of gas up, right? Drives the price of oil up, okay? So when that happens, we pay more at the pump. Do you think the Saudis are going to feel sorry for us and go, you know what? We feel bad for you guys. So here's a bunch of oil at cut rate prices. No. What they're going to do is they're going to say, fine, you want oil? It's $130 a barrel. And then it's only going to go up, which means we're going to pay more. Listen to me. Joe Biden has no idea what he's doing. You think this guy should be riding the White House desk? No. He can't even figure out how to ride a bike. Now, they say you can't fix stupid. And that's probably true, but you can slow it down. Look, folks, midterms are coming in November. You have to get out there and you have to get rid of some of these leftists. You've got to vote them out of office. We need people to adhere to the Constitution. We need people that will do what needs to be done to put this country back on track economically. Okay? So, I digress. Next subject. So this last week, the Supreme Court of the United States struck down Roe v. Wade. Now, if you don't know what Roe v. Wade is all about, then you've had your head in the sand and just go stand in the corner somewhere. Okay, so 1973, Roe v. Wade gets enacted. Now, I'm not here to debate whether abortion is right or wrong, or whether it's moral or immoral. That actually has nothing to do with my argument here, okay? What I am here to discuss is the constitutionality of Roe v. Wade. Now, I'm not saying that I'm anti-abortion. I'm not saying that I'm pro-abortion. I'm not even taking a stance on it at all for this particular discussion. But regardless of where you fall on that side of the fence, put your emotion aside for a moment, okay? I'm just saying, you need to put it aside. Let's look at the constitutionality, particularly the 10th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Now, the federal government is granted certain powers by the Constitution. The 10th Amendment says any power not specifically granted to the federal government is reserved for the states. For example, nowhere in the Constitution does it give the federal government the right nor the authority to rule on whether or not abortion should be legal or illegal. Now, you will see all these protests and people that are protesting saying, well, women have the right to choose. Nobody is arguing that. The Supreme Court has not even changed that. The only thing the Supreme Court did was reverse a complete hiccup from 1973 when the federal government overreached and said, yep, all the states have to legalize it. The federal government does not have the authority to tell the states that, hey, you have to do this, okay? It's not in the Constitution. And I know a lot of people that I've talked to that argue this other side of it say, well, no, it's not a Constitution thing. It's a woman's rights thing. No, it's not. That is something for the states to decide. There is a process. If you don't agree with it, guess what? Don't blame the Supreme Court. They're just going by the Constitution. Blame your state legislature. Okay? If you live in a state in which it will outlaw abortion and you want to get an abortion, you have a couple of options here. Either A, go to a state where it is legal, or B, vote in different legislatures at the state level. That's what the process is for. Okay? If the people that you have representing you in the state legislature are not representing what your ideals, what your morals, what your values, and what your choices are, then elect somebody else. That's why we have elections. Yet every time I turn on the news, I see people in California, Oregon, Washington, New York, all these liberal cities, right? San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City, Portland, so on and so forth. And they're DC, they're protesting, well, you took our rights away. Here's the funny thing. In every one of those states, they're liberal states. They're not going to outlaw abortion. Okay? Now, the question again is, well, what if I live in a state that outlaws abortion and I'm a woman who wants to get an abortion? We've already gone over the options, okay? So check into that. Anywho, like I said, I'm not here to argue the morality of anything. All I'm here to do is talk about the Constitution, and the Constitution specifically says in the 10th Amendment, certain authority is granted to the federal government from the Constitution. Anything outside of that is relegated to the states, all right? Read the Constitution, all right? Don't believe me? No problem. Do your own research the way that I always say, check it out. Prove me wrong, okay? So, that being said, hey look, that's it for me, and that's it for this episode of the I'm Just Sayin video podcast. I'm the CommonSensei. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, click that subscribe button down there, and you'll get notifications when I'm posting new content. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I appreciate you tuning in. I'm the CommonSensei. Take care of each other.